Good morning, welcome to Furry and Spoilt. Today I'm going to talk to you about keeping your dogs cool using a portable air conditioning unit. It's not sponsored, it's nothing like that. This is something that I use because it's best for my dogs. So I get quite concerned about keeping my dogs cool in the summer because dogs really suffer if they get too hot. And it's really not that hard for them to die. If you Google it, you'll see that a lot of dogs do die because they just got too hot. So it's something that concerns me greatly. And then last year, it just got so stupid hot here. It was ridiculous. So let me show you what I use to keep them cool. Right, so this is a portable air conditioning unit. Let me just tell you, last year it hit 40 degrees in the UK. Absolutely stupid hot. 40 degrees it hit. And my house was always between 19 and 21. And it was 38, 39, 40 for about 4 days, and the nights weren't getting a lot cooler. It was unbearable. But my house, 19 to 21 all the way. So I'm absolutely delighted with that. So I, for years, have been messing around with different fans and fans that you can put water into and all of this sort of stuff. And it hasn't worked. It's just created a whole load of work, whole load of expense, and it hasn't worked. Then a few years ago, I got one of these portable air conditioning units. As always, you know what I'm like. I just got it off Amazon. And it was absolutely brilliant. And then, but I only had one. And then in the other rooms, I was using ordinary fans or those fans where you've put the water in. But the reason I didn't like the ones where you put the water in, because you're always faffing around with it having to put the water in. You can't have it on at night because when the water runs out, an alarm goes off. And I've just generally found that they get to the point in the afternoon where they're actually just blowing hot air around. It doesn't really work. Whereas these are blowing out ice cold air all day, and then, you can have them on at night time as well. The reason that we can't have, like proper air conditioning in the walls, well, I had looked at it for a few years. I've been looking at it. But in the UK, 40 degrees is unheard of. Our summers are normally sort of late 20s. We've had a few years where it's been maybe 30, but 40 was ridiculous. It was awful. It was really uncomfortable. And so I had one of these units, but then when they said it was going to be, and it was really effective, when they said we were going to be getting those temperatures, I just thought, I'm not even messing around with this. So I got another 3. So I have 4 of these. And when we looked at getting air conditioning like properly put into the house, it just wasn't doable, mainly because you have to have a great big box unit out the back. We'd have had to have 2 of them to have air conditioning in 4 rooms. We'd have had to have 2 of these boxes, and they were really noisy, and that really bothered me because it's really quiet where I live, and I didn't want to be upsetting neighbours and going down that road. Plus it's incredibly expensive, and it was going to mean so many days of workmen being around, and we'd only just rescued Humps, and there was no way I was doing that to him. But this works really well. And yeah, it is big and it's not the prettiest thing in the world. But, just for a few months over the summer, and then you can put them away and you don't have to, they're not there. So I don't exactly know how it works. But what I do know is that tube, so it's got a tube going out the back of it, and you need to get that tube out of the house. And out of that tube blows hot air, so it takes all the hot air from your house and gets rid of it and sucks it up out of the house, so it gets rid of it. And then the air that comes in, it goes over the top of some kind of treatment thing that's inside the box, and it blows you out ice cold air, and it is freezing cold ice cold air. It's beautiful. What I do is, so I don't have it on now, so it's like about 21, 22 at the moment here, and I don't have it on now. But when it gets sort of a bit hotter, 25, 26, then I'll put it on. And sometimes I'll have it on and I'll just have the back door open. So you've sort of got the mix of that blowing and the fresh air, and it's all really pleasant. But when it gets really hot, I shut that door up, and whatever room, if I've got one on in the kitchen, I'll shut the kitchen door up. And then I've got like plastic things that you Velcro to the wall. And so you're able to put the tube through this material thing. So the idea is that you don't want any air from outside coming in, and then you can get really icy cold. You can get like round cover things so that you could actually cut a hole in your glass or even your wall or your window, and then you wouldn't have, it would be really, really easy to use. But I quite like the combination of the fresh air coming in and the actual the air conditioning. But like I said, when it gets really hot, you don't want that outside air coming in, because the outside air is too warm. I have 4 of them. So you've had a look at them now. Let's have a look at my Harry over there having a sleep. So I have 4 of them. So I've one in this room, I've one in the kitchen. We've got quite a big kitchen dining area, so I've one in there, and then I have 2 upstairs. And the tubes for the ones upstairs, they just go, the tubes, I just throw them out the window. So if you live in a flat, you could just get one of these and then just chuck the tube out the window, and that would blow all your hot air away, and it would be, you would be lovely and cool. They cost about, little Albert down there. I paid £400 for this one. Now, I know a lot of you are going to say to me, that's ridiculous, that's a lot of money. You know, again, yeah, but you can guarantee that your dog is kept cool. And for me, you just can't put money on that. I would make sacrifices, I would save up or whatever. And also, the other thing is that they last. I mean, one of them I've got, not this one here, but one of them that I've got, we've had that, I think, for 6 years. And it's never let us down. No, more than that. It'd have to be more than that. Maybe 7 years. We've used it every year, and it's never let us down. And so that's money well spent to me. But also, I mean, I just cannot imagine how awful it must have been for dogs when it hit 40 degrees last year. If you were trying to do it without any air conditioning, it must have been awful. And I do hear myself, and I know that people, I know I'm going to get criticism for this, because people are going to be like, oh, you sound like such a snob. I just think in the UK now, when we're hitting 40 degrees, hopefully it will never happen again. But even if that doesn't happen, it does hit early 30s regularly, and that's just too hot for dogs. It's just simply too hot. And I just think to have the peace of mind of knowing that I can put these on, the house will be 19, 21, I haven't got to worry about it, I haven't got to think about it, the boys are just lovely lying down. Of course, we've got the cool pads. If you haven't watched those videos, I've done videos about these cool pads. They are some kind of magical genius thing that sucks heat out of dogs. It's incredible. And I just think for that peace of mind, but also for your dog not to suffer, please, will you go and look on Google about how dogs suffer in heat? I have done videos about it, but please will you go and look so you know for yourself how much a dog will suffer if it's hot, because they really, really do suffer. And this system just gives me the peace of mind that I don't have to worry about it. And like I said, this isn't sponsored. This is me genuinely needing to find a solution. Let me get close up to that in case you do want to get one. This is just me genuinely wanting to find a solution so that my boys don't suffer in the heat, so that they're nice and cool. They don't suffer in the heat, and I don't have to think about it. And obviously there are a whole load of other things that I put in place to keep them cool. And again, there's videos on that, and I'm working my way through. I'm doing videos as I go. But I just thought you might like to see this, because I didn't even know they existed. I didn't even know what a portable air conditioning system was. I didn't know it existed. Certainly didn't know you could get them in the UK. But you can, and honestly, you just put them on. You don't have to think about it. It's like putting the heating on. You just put it on. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to worry about your dogs being cold and also hot. But also, for me, I don't want to be hot. I don't want to be sweltering in the heat. So it's much more comfortable for me. I just put that on. I just get on with my day. So that's that. We've got Humps here fast asleep. They've had their walk. We went on a little adventure this morning. We found a new area. Oh, there's my pickle boy. Oh, you heard that word, didn't you, darling? You heard that word. You need to go to sleep, sweetheart. We went on a long explore this morning. We found a new bit of our walk that we haven't been on before. And we went exploring down there. The council had cut all the grass really short so we could get through to where we don't normally go. It was lovely to have a good explore. So now they're all worn out and tired. Thankfully the weather's nice today. It's just nice and cool, perfect for them. So obviously wherever you are in the world, you might have air conditioning in your house, and if you have, you're very, very lucky. I wish we did. But at the moment in the UK, it's just not doable. In the UK at the moment, I mean, there's such a... Some company needs to get air conditioning sorted out so that the boxes that go out in the garden aren't really loud, that you have an electrician that works for the same company, so you haven't got to find your own electrician to fit the whole thing up after the other company have come and put the boxes in. You know, it's just too faffy. And hopefully air conditioning companies will get more with it, and we would eventually be able to have that. But at the moment, and also when I talked to the air conditioning companies, we had only just rescued Hump. So that was the end of last August. We'd only just rescued him, and there was no way on this earth I could have builders in with him, and I wouldn't do it to him. So we won't be doing that. We're not getting a lot of action from my boys. So as always, thank you very much for watching. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.